The sound of the coffee maker dripping into my cup was the only noise in the house that morning. My wife, Lauren, was already gone for work, leaving behind the faint scent of her floral perfume in the air. I sat at the kitchen table, staring at my phone, scrolling through unread emails, but my mind was elsewhere. For the past few months, something had felt off. Lauren and I had been married for 9 years, and though we had our ups and downs, I always believed we had a strong foundation. Lately, though, she had become distant, always on her phone, smiling at messages she wouldn't share, working late far more than usual. I wanted to believe it was nothing, just the stress of her marketing job, but my gut told me otherwise. I glanced at the framed wedding photo on the counter. Lauren in her white dress, me in my tux, both of us laughing in the sunlight. I still remembered that day vividly, the way she looked at me as if I was the only man in the world. When had that changed? The first real warning sign came 2 months ago when I accidentally picked up her phone while she was in the shower. A message popped up from a contact saved as Ashley Work. Last night was amazing. Can't wait to see you again. Same place? My stomach twisted. Ashley? I knew most of Lauren's colleagues, and I had never heard of an Ashley before. I stared at the message, my pulse quickening. I wanted to open it, to see more, but before I could, Lauren walked into the bedroom, hair wrapped in a towel. "What are you doing with my phone?" she asked, her tone light but guarded. "I just picked it up when it buzzed," I said. She walked over, taking it from my hands with a casual smile. "It's just work stuff. Nothing exciting." I forced a chuckle, trying to keep my expression neutral. "Ashley from work?" She didn't even blink. "Yeah, new girl in the department." I nodded, but the unease inside me only grew. After that, the little things became impossible to ignore. Lauren started dressing up more for work. New clothes, new makeup, new lingerie I had never seen before. She started taking more frequent girls' nights out. Yet whenever I asked who she was with, the names always changed. One evening, I decided to wait up for her. She had texted that she'd be home late from dinner with her friend Megan, but at 2 a.m., she still wasn't back. I sat in the dimly lit living room, TV on mute, watching the minutes tick by. At 2:30 a.m., headlights finally appeared outside. I heard the soft click of the door unlocking, and Lauren tiptoed in, her heels in her hand. She froze when she saw me sitting there. "Jesus, Matt, you scared me." She laughed nervously. "Late night," I said, my voice calm but firm. She sighed, running a hand through her hair. "Yeah, sorry, Megan and I got caught up talking. Where did you guys go?" She hesitated for half a second, just long enough for me to notice. "That wine bar on 5th. I nodded slowly. "That closed at midnight." Her eyes flickered, but she recovered quickly. "We went to her place afterward." "Look, I'm exhausted. Can we talk about this in the morning?" I didn't press further, but my doubts were now undeniable. The breaking point came a week later when I found her diary. Lauren never kept a journal, at least not that I knew of. But that evening, as I was searching for some receipts in her desk drawer, I found a small leather-bound book hidden beneath a stack of old papers. Curious, I flipped it open. What I saw inside made my blood run cold. My hands trembled as I turned the pages. At first, the entries seemed innocent, just notes about her day, frustrations at work, random musings. But then, my eyes caught a passage dated 3 months ago, and my breath hitched. I can't stop thinking about him. Every time I see him, my heart races. I know it's wrong, but I feel alive again. Matt has been so distant lately. Maybe it's not so bad if I find happiness somewhere else. I clenched my jaw. Him? Who the hell was him? I flipped through more pages, skimming for anything that would reveal the truth. The deeper I read, the worse it got. I lied to Matt tonight. Told him I was with Megan, but really I was in Alex's arms. The way he touches me, it's electric. He makes me feel wanted, and I can't bring myself to stop. I don't think I want to. My stomach churned. Alex. A name. A real person. I forced myself to keep reading, my knuckles white as I gripped the diary. We spent the whole night together, and I didn't feel guilty. I should, but I don't. I love Matt, but I need more than what he gives me. Alex understands me in a way Matt never has. I slammed the diary shut, my breathing heavy. She loved me, but not enough to stay faithful. Anger burned in my chest, but beneath it was something worse: humiliation. I spent the next hour reading through every incriminating page, each entry another knife in my back. The affair had started 6 months ago, longer than I had even suspected. They met at a coffee shop near her office, flirted for weeks before things escalated. Their first night together had been at a hotel downtown, and according to Lauren, it had been the most passionate night of her life. I felt sick. She even compared us in her diary. Matt is a good husband, but our passion has faded. Alex makes me feel wanted in a way Matt never has. I wish I didn't have to choose between them. Choose? Choose? She had already made her choice the moment she took off her ring for him. I gritted my teeth, flipping to the most recent entry, dated just 2 days ago. Seeing Alex again tonight. Matt has no idea. I keep telling myself I'll stop, but I don't want to. He's become an addiction, and I don't know if I even love Matt the same way anymore. That was it. I had seen enough. I stared at the diary, my mind racing. My first instinct was to wake her up, throw it in her face, demand answers, but I stopped myself. No, that's what she expected me to do. She would lie, twist the truth, cry, beg for another chance. And I wasn't going to give her that opportunity. I needed proof. Undeniable, solid proof, to ensure she couldn't manipulate the situation. I grabbed my phone and started searching for ways to track her movements. Within minutes, I found what I needed: a GPS tracking app that I could install on her phone while she slept. It would give me real-time updates on her location. If she was still meeting Alex, I would know. And when I did, I would be ready. That night, I slipped the diary back in her drawer and installed the tracker while she slept beside me, oblivious to the storm she had unleashed. 2 nights later, my phone buzzed. Lauren's location, a hotel downtown. I gripped the phone so tightly my knuckles ached. She had told me she was going to dinner with Megan again. I wasn't even surprised anymore. Taking a deep breath, I grabbed my car keys and drove straight to the hotel. When I arrived, I parked across the street and waited. The minutes crawled by. My heart pounded in my ears as I watched the entrance, every passing couple making my blood boil. Then finally there she was. Lauren emerged from the lobby, her hair tousled, her dress slightly wrinkled. She was smiling, her eyes full of warmth and desire, but not for me. A moment later, he walked out. Alex, tall, athletic, a complete stranger to me, but not to her. They kissed, right there in the open. I had seen enough. I pulled out my phone and snapped photo after photo, ensuring I had all the evidence I needed. She had no idea I was watching. When Lauren got home later that night, I was already waiting in the living room. "Hey, babe," she said, tossing her purse onto the counter. "You're up late?" I stood slowly, gripping my phone in one hand and her diary in the other. She froze. Her eyes darted between the diary and my face, color draining from her cheeks. "Matt, what's going on?" I tossed the diary onto the coffee table. "Go ahead. Pick it up. Read me a passage. Maybe the one where you say how much better Alex makes you feel." Her mouth fell open. "I don't know what you're talking about." "Cut the bullshit, Lauren." I snapped, my voice sharp. "I know everything. I read your diary. I know about the hotel. I know about Alex. I even know you weren't with Megan tonight." Tears welled in her eyes. "Matt, please, I can explain." "Explain what?" "How you've been lying to my face for months." I held up my phone. "I have pictures of you two outside the hotel." "What's left to explain?" Her lower lip trembled. I never meant for it to go this far." I laughed bitterly. "Oh, that makes it better? You didn't mean to cheat on me for 6 months? You didn't mean to write in your diary how much you love him?" She covered her mouth with her hand, sobbing. "Matt, please. I love you. I never stopped loving you." I shook my head. "No, you love the security I provide. You love the fact that I'm a good husband, that I take care of you. But me, the actual person you married, you stopped loving me a long time ago." She reached for me, but I stepped back. "I want a divorce," she gasped, eyes wide with horror. "No, no, Matt, please. We can fix this. We can go to therapy. I'll stop seeing him. You should have thought about that before you went behind my back. Before you wrote all those things about me like I was just some backup plan in case Alex didn't work out." Her sobs grew louder. I swear, I'll do anything to fix this. I looked at her, truly looked at her, and realized something. I didn't love her anymore. Something inside me had shattered, and no amount of apologies could put it back together. This marriage is over, Lauren, I said quietly, walking toward the door. You destroyed it. Now you have to live with it. As I walked out of the house, her cries echoing behind me, I felt something I hadn't in months. Freedom. I didn't stay the night. After walking out, I checked into a hotel across town, needing space to think. The weight of the night settled over me like a crushing force, but one thing was clear. I was done with Lauren. By morning, my phone was flooded with missed calls and text messages. Lauren, please come home. Let's talk. Lauren, I messed up, I know, but we can fix this. Lauren, I swear I'll cut him off. I love you. Please don't do. I ignored them all. Instead, I texted my lawyer. I need to start the divorce process. Let's meet today. His response came within minutes. Lawyer, understood. Come by at noon. We'll get started. It was happening. This was real. By the time I got home later that evening, Lauren was waiting for me in the kitchen. Her face was pale, her eyes red from crying. She had clearly been waiting all day. Matt, she said softly, as if choosing her words carefully. Please don't do this. I set my keys down and crossed my arms. Lauren, I'm filing for divorce. There's nothing to discuss. She took a shaky breath. I made a mistake. A terrible mistake. But I never stopped loving you. I scoffed. You sure had a funny way of showing it. Her lower lip trembled. It was never just about Alex. I felt like we were losing our spark. And I cut in sharply. Don't you dare blame me for what you did. If you were unhappy, you could have talked to me. We could have worked on things. But instead, you chose to lie, sneak around, and humiliate me. Tears spilled down her cheeks. I was selfish. I was stupid. But I swear to you, I'll do anything to make this right. I shook my head. There is no making this right, Lauren. She took a step closer, her hands trembling. I'll cut off all contact with him. I'll delete his number. Hell, I'll quit my job if I have to. I exhaled slowly, rubbing my temples. I don't want you to quit your job. I don't want you to block his number. I want you to leave. I want my life back. A life without you. Her face crumpled, and for the first time, I saw real fear in her eyes. She finally understood. I don't have anywhere to go, she whispered. I shrugged. Not my problem. You should have thought about that before sneaking around with Alex for 6 months. She sobbed, collapsing into a chair. You really hate me that much? I looked at her long and hard. I don't hate you, but I'll never trust you again. Silence filled the room, heavy and suffocating. Finally, Lauren wiped her tears and nodded. If this is really what you want, I'll pack my things. I didn't respond. I just walked upstairs, grabbed a suitcase, and set it in front of her. She stared at it, then at me. A part of me expected her to keep begging, to keep fighting, but instead, she nodded in resignation. She knew it was over. The next morning, Lauren was gone. I woke up to an eerily quiet house. No smell of coffee brewing, no sound of her shuffling around in the kitchen. Just silence. Her suitcase was gone from the hallway, and so was her car. She had left a note on the dining table. Matt, I know I don't deserve forgiveness, but I hope that one day you can remember the good times we had and not just how I hurt you. I'm sorry for everything. Lauren, I read it twice, then crumpled it in my fist. She was sorry? Sorry didn't erase 6 months of betrayal. Sorry didn't change the fact that she had destroyed the life we built together. I tossed the note in the trash and grabbed my phone. It was time to move forward. Within days, my lawyer had everything in motion. Since I had solid evidence of her affair, the divorce proceedings were in my favor. Lauren fought at first, trying to negotiate, trying to hold on to something. But the moment I presented the photos and diary entries as evidence, she backed down. She didn't even try to fight for the house. She moved into a small apartment across town, while I kept everything: the house, the savings, the stability. She got exactly what she deserved: nothing. And Alex? He ghosted her the moment things got messy. Turns out he was married too. His wife found out about the affair and kicked him out, leaving him scrambling. He had no interest in playing happy couple with Lauren once she was single. She lost me. She lost Alex. She lost everything. At first, the loneliness hit hard, even though I knew I was better off without her. 10 years of marriage doesn't disappear overnight. Some nights, I found myself standing in the doorway of our old bedroom, staring at the empty space where she used to sleep. But then, I'd remember the diary. I'd remember the hotel. I'd remember how she looked at Alex with a love she hadn't shown me in years. And just like that, the pain turned to anger. Anger that fueled me to rebuild. I started hitting the gym again, something I hadn't done in years. I reconnected with old friends. I threw myself into work, traveling more, expanding my business. And for the first time in a long time, I felt free. Lauren had spent months writing in her diary about how Alex made her feel alive. But now I was the one living, and she was the one drowning in regret. Months passed. My divorce was finalized, and I had fully moved on. Lauren? Not so much. I heard bits and pieces about her from mutual friends. After the affair was exposed, she became somewhat of a pariah. She lost her job, not because of the affair itself, but because Alex's wife reported them to HR. Since workplace affairs violated company policy, they both got fired. Alex moved to another city to patch things up with his wife, leaving Lauren behind with no job, no savings, and no support system. One evening, I was at a local cafe when I spotted her. She looked different. Her once polished appearance was gone. Her hair was messy, her clothes wrinkled. She looked exhausted, weighed down by the consequences of her own choices. She saw me too. For a moment, it looked like she might approach. But then she hesitated. I met her eyes, calm, indifferent. She looked away. She knew there was nothing left to say. One night, as I was packing for a business trip, I found myself staring at the box of Lauren's things I had tucked away in the garage. Old love letters, anniversary cards, photos from a life that no longer existed. For months, I had held on to them, unsure if I was ready to let go completely. But now, I picked up the box and carried it outside. With one deep breath, I dropped it into the trash. And just like that, I was free. As I closed the lid, my phone buzzed. A message from someone new. A woman I had met recently. Someone kind, someone genuine, someone who had never betrayed me. Looking forward to our dinner tomorrow. I smiled. For the first time in years, I felt like I had my life back. And Lauren? She was nothing more than a lesson learned.